Risk of Rain 2 is a third-person action roguelike where you steal packages from a destroyed Amazon warehouse. In your quest for incredible drip, you'll fight off hordes of enemies as well as travel to different parts of the planet your team is set down on. And so to start, you pick your character and drop in. At its simplest, Risk of Rain is a horde shooter, so you'll have to fight off waves of enemies that will continue to spawn until the end of time, or until you activate a portal, whatever happens first. Activating a portal will start a charging phase. In this time, you must stay within an area while it charges. Leaving just puts it on hold, so you'll be stuck there longer. But you can't just dodge roll around for 2 minutes, because you'll also have to kill a boss that spawns. Each boss is different both in how they fight and behave, so you'll have to learn how they work in order to beat them. Because knowing when you're about to experience the opening to Fallout 4 is a good survival sense. Once the boss is dead and the portal is charged, you can then teleport to the next stage. And here's where Risk of Rain separates from most other games. Difficulty doesn't increase based on levels, but based on time. At certain time intervals, the difficulty will increase. This means more enemies, harder enemies, and more enemies spawning as elites. Elites get more health as well as a random buff such as a freezing blast on death or dealing fire damage. With all that in mind though, you shouldn't have much difficulty in the early game, but after a few minutes when the difficulty starts to increase, you're going to have trouble if you're not digging through people's mail. Scattered across the map are various crates and vending machines containing items. These items give all sorts of buffs which can bolster your strengths, cover your weaknesses, or change up your playstyle entirely. For example, the Commando has a high fire rate but low damage, so sticky bombs and tri-tip daggers can make up for lost damage while also being likely to happen due to fire rate. If it isn't obvious, this is your main form of progression. There is level upping, but outside of a bit of health and damage it doesn't do a whole lot. And besides, busting open a goodie bag is fun. Even if the item is bad, it still does something, but you can scrap things if you really don't want them. A large part of Risk of Rain is randomness. Even though the maps you spawn on are the same each time, the locations of enemies, your spawns, and the crates aren't. And just the same, you can get just about any item at any point in the game. I've had a run where my first item made everything deal splash damage. There are things like the aforementioned vending machine which lets you pick from 3 items, but as well as that there are 3D printers that convert items you have into an item that it's displaying, which can both come in handy if you're chasing after a certain build, or if you just find a good item spawner. You can also find equipment items, which are usable but have a cooldown. It's good to hold on to these until you need them. Beyblades and SAM launchers are good for clearing out enemies, while radars and portable recyclers make getting revenge on Postman Pat that much easier. But do keep in mind that skill is important. You could walk around looking like the entire Met Gala and still get dabbed on if you aren't paying attention. Understanding how your character works is crucial to surviving. The difference between each character is huge. I did try comparing a couple of characters, but I really couldn't. Here's what I mean. The Ranger is about quick movement. She has a bow that tracks enemies, a glaive that bounces off enemies, a teleport, and can fire a rain of arrows in an area that launches her up in the air. Lots of opportunities to dodge enemies, with no need to take your time to aim. The Bandit, on the other hand, is very aggressive. He has a shotgun with 4 shots that needs to reload, a knife that can cause bleeding on crits, an invisibility, and a revolver that can reset all his cooldowns. I guess I could say the Bandit is more melee focused. This extends to every other character too. A pot plant that uses health as ammo, the Warlock from Destiny, 2 turrets with a minion that you play as. It's really fun finding out how each character works, especially once you get a good run to see just how crazy things can get. But you'll have plenty of time to learn between characters, because they all have unlock requirements. In fact, there's a lot of unlocks in Risk of Rain 2. Characters can unlock different abilities that shift how they work, you can unlock new items that can spawn, as well as artifacts that change the game rules, like making every enemy an elite. I don't know why you'd do that. But I've found entire new maps I've never knew of. Discovery is a big part of Risk of Rain, but can be easily ignored if you just want a dimension hop. And feel free to. The game only ends when you go the way of the stocks, or go the way of the stocks. So to finish, I highly recommend Risk of Rain 2. Interactions between items can cause the game to go south really fast, and it's great to be in that. Oh, I forgot to mention multiplayer. There's multiplayer. Play multiplayer. So pick up Risk of Rain 2 when you can, get your friends to buy it too.
Oh shit, they're right there!
Wait, the cat boy? You mean that fucking... You will all regret it.